Heidi Strobel, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
All right, the morning after, are you regretting that speech? A little overconfident?
No, not overconfident. I was very, I think, angry at that time, where you work so hard to get where you're at, trying to make deals go and try to make things go the way you want them to, and then they just don't, and you're like, oh, darn it.
Needless to say, after that speech, you must have been flabbergasted that you were voted out. So what happened? Why do you think you were booted?
I know that the three guys were definitely a hardcore alliance, and I know I was, I mean, when it got down to the wire, you have to get rid of any competition you have, so.
Which brings me to, does it boil down to when we first started, you know, this series, this run of the show, it was the men versus the women, and then the tribes merged, and now it boils down to maybe it is the men versus the women, because the three guys voted you out, and you and Jenna, your buddy, both voted for Rob. So is that what it boiled down to?
I don't believe it just boils down to men versus women in the end. I definitely think it has to do with your relationships, you know, who has what in common with who, you know, how can I see myself in the end with the final two. And Rob was saying earlier, I see myself at a better chance with Jenna. So obviously he wasn't thinking of it as guys against girls. And I know I wasn't either, so.
You talked a lot about loyalty being important to you, and Jenna was your buddy through and through.
Correct.
And then when Jenna last night displayed some weakness, you were kind of going in for the kill. You said, what's going on there?
It does appear that way, definitely. But as I'm having a speech with Rob about, you know, she's sick and everything, she's right there. It's not like I was going behind her back. She was asking us, I'm sick, Heidi, well, you know, is there any way I can go before you? At that point, I felt there was no way I could win this game at all. I just thought, you know, well, that's fine. She's sick. She'll go one day before me, and I'll go the very next day. It wasn't like I was trying to beat her. It was just like she was sick, so, you know, we were like, well, maybe she can go first, and then I'll go the next day.
At least one of us will win, be closer to the $1 million prize.
Yeah.
What was your strategy? Because it definitely, people watching at home definitely felt as if you and Jenna, maybe some of the other, you know, younger, very pretty girls, used your sex appeal to get ahead in this game. Is that a fair assessment?
It is a fair assessment after a certain point. Like in the beginning, that was not my plan at all. But once you see how the guys react to you and challenges and whatnot, then you're like, okay, if this is how they're reacting to me, why not use it? You know, I had no plan of that whatsoever. But you know, you feed off what they give you. So if I felt like if that can distract them from me trying to play the game out here, go for it.
Boy, I tell you, last week Christy was here and she was angry. She called you and Jenna the evil stepsisters. This is your 2-minute rebuttal. What do you have to say for yourself?
You know, that one's hard because I really do like Christy a lot. I think it's hard because you have, 39 days to get to know somebody, and it's kind of like if you're turned off from them in the beginning, it's hard to make that relationship. In real life, it would have gone completely different. In the game of Survivor, it can't. You have so much time to work on certain relationships.
Outwit, outplay, outlast.
Exactly.